Hey guys, J.I. Rowley here one more time. Today we're doing something a little different. As you can maybe see here, I've got a couple of vintage figures. And thanks to Mark Tremblay from the Collector's Platoon, we've got some O-rings and a couple of screws here. And we're gonna go through what it takes to change an O-ring. I don't know if you guys have done it before. I've done it a few times. It can be very scary the first time. And to be honest, it can even be scary after a few times. So I'm going to show you a few tricks that I've used that make things a little easier, a little simpler, and how you can avoid some common accidents. Because, for example, you don't want to end up like Dusty here with a break that really hurts. That is something that can happen if you're not careful when you're passing the O-ring, but I'll get into a few more details in a few moments. Let's just get started. So we're just going to try a few different things. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So we're just going to film a few things. We'll edit out whatever doesn't work. Just going to relax here with my trusty cameraman, Marco Antonio, having my favorite sugar-free energy drink. If you know, you know. We're going to open them up and look at some things. So first of all, what I'm going to need is a screwdriver. So Phillips head, I don't know if you can capture that very well. You want it small. And you also want it thin, you want it kind of long, because you're gonna go into the back of the figure. Again, I don't know if you can see that. You're gonna try different ones. I can't tell you which one. I'm sure there's a bit size that I should be recommending. You know, if others have some recommendations, feel free to, you know, put it in the comments. But what I did is I've had a few different ones and I tried them until I found the ones that did the job best. That goes in there, you just feel it, that it grips, and then you go ahead and take it off. You don't want something that's too small because you don't want it to start stripping away at the screw. You don't want it too big or else it's not gonna grip well. You just want to find just the right size and you just feel it, I guess. Here what I've got is a special limited edition Arctic flint. I'm just kidding. It's obviously, for those that know, this is frostbite, and just my brother and I, when we were younger, used to have fun making a few customs. So we opened them up and put a flint head there, so it looked like a flint in snow gear. But now his O-ring broke, and here is what I use. So I've been using these for a little while. I got these from Mark Tremblay, but or as I like to say, Marc Tremblay, but these are the same style of what I've been using for the last 3 years since I started having fun taking apart some G.I. Joes. They're just the right size, that you don't want something too big that's going to cause damage to the inside. I know some people go to the hardware store and, you know, grab some plumbing O-rings. I wouldn't know what number to recommend because, to be honest, I've never done it and I'd be too scared to start experimenting. I've been using these for years, and I said, well, like these ones, and from what I remember and we've spoken, I think he gets them from pretty much the same places where I used to get them before. So these are O-rings that I am comfortable using. And so let's go take a look at how that works. Let's open this guy up so we can get him back together. So it's as simple as, no, there it is. Oh. All right, so I've taken out the screw. And as you can see, sometimes these screws get old and rusty, and many times people like to replace them. I have no problem replacing them. Mark sent me here a couple of replacement screws. Some people don't like replacing screws. They feel more comfortable keeping the original screw. I think that if you've got the right size of screw, then there should be no problem putting in a nice new one. But really up to you. As you can see, it lines up relatively well. The difference is there's no tip, but in terms of width, looks similar. So up to you if you want to switch or not. But the important part is once you've separated, taken out the screw, you just separate the body cavity, and this is what it looks like inside. Let's go take a look. All right. Hopefully he's not stuck together. All right. So here, guys, is what you will find inside when the O-ring gives out. So it just kind of, over time, plastic wears out and, you know, breaks, deteriorate, breaks, pops, however you want to call it. And this is what the replacement O-ring looks like. Now, it's not the same width. Again, something that I've become comfortable with. I'm not looking to get exactly this because this is what they used in the 80s. I don't know if they have the exact equivalent. Something that you find in the hardware store that's the same thickness might be too loose, might be too tight, and that can cause it to break. So far with these O-rings, I've never had a problem. I've replaced, I would say, at least half of the O-rings of my original childhood collection with O-rings like this, and I've had no trouble at all. All right, guys, so here, let me show you a technique that I used to use. I'm only showing it to you because some people might find this easier, but I now find it scary because somebody told me that this might be the reason why I may have broken a waist. So the old technique was to put in the O-ring here right now on the hook and then pass it through here. But I won't do that. What I'll do instead, all right, so what I do now is I'll actually put this piece back together, so legs and waist, and you see how the hook comes out on the other side, and then I will hook the O-ring into the hook. Now, usually what I'll do is I'll just put it in like this. Let me know when you can see that well, Marco Antonio. And then they have this tool that I used. And it's basically something I got at the dollar store. It's like one of those, I guess, dentist tools or something like that. And it's got a little hook. And then I'll use that to go in there and sort of make sure that the O-ring goes in around the hook. And once it does, as you can see, it's in there, right? You've got your O-ring back into the hook, the legs. Then you simply put the top back together. So first thing I do is I hook the back. As you can see, it's taut enough that it's, you know, it's practically being held this way. I set it down. Then I put in the arms. There's a technique to this, and you really, honestly, you just need to practice because it'll move around. So there's the head, and now the top. Now, obviously, the top won't be as simple as just putting it on because, well, you gotta kind of slide it in there. So what I do is I kind of slide it into the bottom, like put the bottom first, and then gently holding the head, lift and kind of pull. I don't know if you guys saw that, so I'm gonna try that again. So I'm gonna, like, it's on now, but I'll try that again because it's not super easy, and I know that it can make some people nervous. So let me see if I can undo him and do that and show you that again. All right, so here we go again. Now, I'm sure there are multiple techniques out there. None of them is necessarily wrong. So I kind of start with the bottom, but you can do the top also. Some people prefer to do that. So I just align the top. I don't know if you guys can see that. Sort of align the top. and then hold it, like kind of squeeze gently, not, and then pull on the O-ring, and the top kind of slides on. So there we are. Top back on, and then, well, put the screw back on, put the screw back in, whether it's the old one or the new one. Another thing is not too tight. So I will turn until it reaches, oh, I can see I've reached the end of it, right? I'm not turning very, very tight, very hard, but I can see that it's not turning very freely anymore. And then I'll just maybe give it a half turn, not even, more like a quarter turn. Boom. And that's tight enough for me. That's good enough for me. The arms, all of a sudden, you see how the arms are already a little tighter, the head tighter, the legs, of course, that's not impacted, but that's what's going to impact how tight your arms and your legs are, unless, of course, it's an older, worn figure. So I think that gives you a good idea. Obviously, we could just, repeat this over and over, but that's how you change an O-ring. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. Until next time, yo Joe.